Hello there and welcome to yet another session of Rock Tales. Today we're very pleased to welcome back a third time, unbelievably, the legendary Mo Foster, who has of course been a bass player, a session musician and a touring sideman for just about everyone you could think of, as well as many who you couldn't. Mo has invited some more of his music industry friends and colleagues to share some scurrilous stories with us all, because of course that's why we're here. We're always here to recount amusing tales from our various experiences from the crazy world of music, showbiz and celebrity. So gents, feel free to swear, feel free to name names as ever, but the accent really should be on light-hearted humour. We don't want to really dish the dirt. Your best funny stories, please. As always, Rock Tales regulars, John Mays and David Beeching and myself will be here to act as your audience and to adjudicate and to maybe nudge things along with some ideas of categories of stories. But for today's session, I'm going to hand you over to Mo Foster. Mo's brought a bevy of record producers today, as well as a very eminent guitar player. So Mo, please introduce your guests for us.
Oh, blimey. Hello.
Can't remember.
These are the guys who aren't working today. Where do we start? Chris Neal, lovely producer. I did a lot of stuff with Chris in the 70s. It was like a kind of London wrecking crew, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Chris has gone on to do lots of wonderful stuff with Mike and the Mechanics. Ray, I've known forever. We've done so many projects together, and he just played on my brand new album that's just come out. And I've got to scroll to find out who's here. Greg Walsh. We did lots of stuff together in the past, and he just mastered my album, which is fantastic. That was very strange because he was doing it at a distance. He'd be doing it in his studio and then send stuff over to me. It was so frustrating I couldn't be there. And Mike Hurst, who I've known forever. We met when he put together a band called Fancy that was essentially to make a kind of sexy version of the song Wild Thing. And it was very good. But the girl who sang it couldn't sing. And we finally found a good one, Annie Kavanagh, and we became a real band and we toured. And have I missed anybody out? I can't see.
No.
That's it. No.
That was perfect.
So, welcome. I'll start, if I may, with Mike. I mentioned this band, and the two singles went up into the charts in America. It was amazing. So we thought we better get together and do something about this. And we went out and toured the whole States. And on one occasion, we were doing a week at the Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles. And what we didn't know was that Mike had flown in and was staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel just up the road. But anyway, we start the first night. I just got hold of this tape from pre-internet. Tape used to go around the studios of things that were funny. Everybody had a copy. And there was this copy of Peter Cook Dudley Moore doing a lot of swearing. I mean, it became Derek and Clive eventually. And we thought it was very funny. And we thought, LA, they're mad. Let's use this as our opening act. And it's an absurd idea anyway. So we did. And, the MD or whoever it was welcomed the band on. First thing you hear is, you calling me a cunt, you fucking cunt. Being done over the PA. We were
just the first story.
Yeah, we're falling about.
Okay, so much for the introduction. Yeah, go on.
Can I pass you now? Now, change frame of reference. In the audience is Mike. We didn't know.
But what you've forgotten, Mo, is who was with me, because staying at home. You know, guys. A great thing about being in the music business or the entertainment industry in general is one peculiar thing is you always think you know somebody. And you may never have met them before, but you just know them. So I was in a swimming pool at the Beverly Hills Hotel, which you're talking about, that day. And as I swam up under the water to the deep end and came up, next to me is Donald Pleasance. So I said, "Hello, Donald. How do you do? I've never met him before. Hello, Donald." He said, "Hello." And I said, "Hiya." So we chatted for a while and everything else. And eventually I said to him, "Do you want to come and see a gig tonight?" He said, "A gig? What's a gig?" I said, "It's a rock band." I don't know if it's your bag or whatever. He said, oh, yes. He said, I'd love to come with you. So Donald Pleasance was there at the Whiskey Mo with you. And as we were sitting there in the silence, and you say that, Cook Dudley, I thought, you and your fucking blue eyes. Donald turned to me and he said, as usual. I said, yes. And I got up and I ran up to the dressing room, and you and Ray Fennick were on the ground like sort of dead things shaking, laughing your heads off. It was unbelievable. It was very funny. The crowd couldn't believe it.
Can I apologise now?
Oh, it's lovely.
Oh, man.
That not knowing, Chris, you taught me something I've never forgotten it many years ago, of the, you know, people know you and you don't always know them. And the way out of that is, I'm terribly sorry, I've forgotten your name. Oh, it's Ray. No, of course, I know it's Ray. It's Ray, your surname. I think that's
that's a good one.
good way out of it.
Do you know the story of Thomas Beecham?
Oh,
One day was in Harrods. This is the version I heard. He was in Harrods near the lift, and he sees this woman he thinks he knows. So he goes over to her and starts talking. But every question he offers doesn't get an answer back that's of any use to tell him who she is. So he keeps trying different tacks. In the end, he thinks, oh, I'll try something different. He says to her, how's your husband? And she said, oh, he's fine, thank you very much. And they said, what's he doing now? She said, he's still king.
great.
What circles?
Well, I was wondering, actually, guys, all of you have worked at some moment with Mo. So, does anyone have any stories about Mo?
Ooh.
Ooh. Hang on. Where do you start?
Ray, you must have some.
No, I don't know anything about him. I've never met him.
No.
Mo, slow faster. No, hang on. Well,
I leave you to ponder.
I'll tell you. Actually, do you know what? I mean, I have, but can I just, before I forget it, because that's what happens when you get of a certain age. It just goes, you know. I have to. Earlier today, I was thinking with. I know you're Greg, but I can't think of your second name. Oh, it's come up. I know it. Welsh. That's it. Greg Welsh, the memory man, right?
Walsh.
Leslie Walsh.
Yeah, I was thinking of this very, very funny scene when we were working at Utopia, doing the session. I can't remember. You know, what's the name? Who was very. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, we decided to have a break. It was like all getting too much. So Greg decided, I can't remember what time this was. We'd probably been working all night or something. It was just decided to have a break and go and walk over Primrose Hill. And
Was it Nona Hendrix?
oh, Nona, that's it. Yeah, you weren't on that session, were you?
Yeah.
Were you on that session? No,
Yeah.
you weren't on that session.
I was, yeah.
Were you? Oh, that's why we had a break. You were busy dropping in, weren't you? I remember. We had to go while you were doing. No, that's fine. Anyway, so we were walking over Primrose Hill, and Greg said, suddenly said, "Well, look, you know," he said, "I am the producer. I'm the sort of leader." He said, "I should be denoted by something different." So he picked up this big lump of wood, this great big pole, and stood in front of us with this pole. And he said, "Right, I'm leader. We're going to go this way." And we followed him for about an hour with this pole walking over, you know, Primrose Hill and whatever, and wherever he went, because we can't really remember. We were all kind of laughing. And he led us straight back to the studio with the pole, which wouldn't fit under the door.
We took it in
Down and we
lengthways.
carried it.
We took it in lengthways, three of us.
That's right. Did we take it in lengthways?
I remember arriving at
That's so funny.
I got to Audio International, as it was. First, I was early, which is both wise and foolish at the same time. Because Greg, who was engineering, I think, had decided to construct an elephant out of tape boxes. I don't know if you remember this, Greg, at all.
And the piano cover.
Yes, it was very sophisticated, but I wasn't expecting it.
I remember one with, that was that we had some mic stands and we put a sort of skeleton of an elephant out of mic stands and then hung the piano cover over it. Mo walked in, this elephant, it had 2 gaffer tape eyes on it and a mouth. And I remember with Chris, do you remember Chris with Mo, we played on some sessions when the harmonizer, remember the old Eventide H910 harmonizer when that first came out, getting Mo to do some fretless overdubs and putting the harmonizer on the feed back to his headphones, so everything was just like a quarter tone out from where he was playing it. So he was constantly retuning it and adjusting it, and then he would come back into the control room. And of course, because the signal we were recording wasn't harmonized, it was completely out of tune what he was playing. And you just saying to Chris, to Mo, is there a slight tuning issue here? And it's like a quarter tone out all the way. It's fantastic. Good fun.
Very cool. The thing that stands out about working with Mo, and bizarrely, it was at Audio International. Mo, did you play on the Minder theme?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was that session. Something really surreal, totally surreal happened. And I'll take it to the grave with me, because you'd befriended a guy on a plane, or you'd been in America and met this guy on a plane, a domestic flight in America. Yeah. And you got very friendly with him and invited him to London. Anytime you're in London, come and see me, one of those sort of things. We were doing this, this guy showed up. He got to Heathrow, called you, and you said to me, do you mind if this guy just comes and sits in the back? And I said, no, it's fine. As long as he keeps his mouth shut, fine. And the guy turned up, and he was a lovely guy. He was a nice guy. And I remember saying to you, look, I'm not going to need you for a couple of hours if you want to, go and grab a coffee or something. And you turned, and what unfolded was like an Abbott and Costello movie. I swear this is the funny. You said to this guy, okay, I'm going to take you to our Bloomingdale's. It's a big store. And the guy said, and he was so hyper being in London for the first time. He said, great, what's it called? And you said, Selfridges, it's just down the road. And he said, Selfridges? He said, yeah. He said, is that all they sell? And I swear this is the truth. And you said, no, they sell everything. So the guy said, well, why do they call it Selfridges? And you said, they don't call it Selfridges, they call it Selfridges. The guy goes, I don't get it. And you said, no, the name is Selfridges. He said, but if they sell everything, why call it Selfridges? And the two of you walking out the door with this patter going on, this argument.
Mercifully, I've forgotten every detail of that.
No, and he was Selfridges. What do you mean? You get Selfridges? No, it's not Selfridges. and anyway, going quieter and fading as they're going out the door. It was just like an Abbott and Costello movie. Me and I can't remember. Was it Nick Ryan maybe, or was it you, Greg? I don't know who was engineering at the time. I did.
I mixed that with you. I think it might have been Nick who did the session with you.
Well, whoever it was weeping. It was just why is it Selfridges? No, it's not Selfridges, it's Selfridges.
That's fantastic. I love it.
For 10 minutes.
Thanks.
I love it.
Can I clarify?
Never heard about that
this before. I must clarify that when I did the track, I wasn't happy with it. But I bought this bass called a Kramer that was very bright. And I've been watching. Am I still on? Everyone's frozen. Still on? Yeah.
Oh, we're just listening.
Yeah.
We're just
another
coffee, please. Another coffee, yeah.